Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Let's Get Luxe. For those of you who saw my last video, you know that we were all racing for a Louis Vuitton price increase. Well, we got it. On January 7th, Louis Vuitton raised its prices. And because I'm a bit of a luxe nut, I went through the Louis Vuitton website and recorded prices before and after the price increase on several of the categories, including of course, handbags and small leather goods. I've done this several times before actually, and the first time I ever did it, I did a video on it and I posted it on my channel. I think it was one of the first videos I ever did. I'll link that in the description box below, and also I'll put a card up here in case you want to check out that video. If you like these kinds of videos and this type of information, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I put up a new video. There is a Chanel price increase coming, so I will be doing a video that provides all the information about that as well. And I'd love for you to comment down below about whether these price increases are impacting how you're thinking about luxury items or your buying behavior, or if we're just gonna all power through and buy the bags you want regardless of the price. So compared to other times that I've tracked Louis Vuitton price increases, this one's a mixed bag. There's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is that several popular items went up in price, and they went up a lot. The good news is that some items actually went down in price, and I'll tell you about those later. And then also the good news is that this price increase was much milder than I was expecting. The number of items impacted and the number of categories impacted were much fewer than I thought they would be. Before I delve into the specifics of this price increase, I just wanted to mention something that's time sensitive. Right now, prices on the pre-loved market reflect the old retail prices, meaning that those pieces were priced on the pre-loved market with a reference to the old retail prices. I do think at some point in the future, we are going to see an adjustment up on the pre-loved market to take into account the higher prices at Louis Vuitton. That means that now might be a good time for you to look on the pre-loved market for what you want, if any of the items that I mentioned today are of interest to you. In the description box below, I list the items that were subject to the price increase, and I include options from the pre-loved market that are less than the current retail price. For example, there are new Vanity PMs and new cosmetic pouches that are currently on the pre-loved market that are for sale for less than the current retail price, and I don't know how long those types of things are gonna last. Okay, so let's now dive into specifically what happened during this price adjustment at Louis Vuitton. And please be kind if I made any mistakes. I tried so hard to be accurate. The categories that were unaffected by the Louis Vuitton price increase include shoes, belts, bandeau and silk scarves, scarves and shawls, soft-sided luggage, so think of the keep all, rolling luggage, fragrance, and fashion jewelry. The areas that were affected were handbags, small leather goods, and travel accessories. There also was one shoulder strap that I think went up in price. There are only a few items that went down in price. I'm gonna cover them quickly first. The two NeoNoe bags in Omfront leather went down in price by $310. So that's about 10 or 11%. And this is particularly interesting because, as you'll see later, the canvas piece actually went up in price. The Onthego GM in the LV Crafty print went down substantially by 30%. It was $4,100 and now it's $2,860. This also is interesting because, as you'll see later, that the On The Go and canvas went up. Now I'm gonna go through what went up. Okay, we are starting with travel accessories. The Cosmetic Pouch GM went up from $615 to $675. That's a $60 difference. That's about 10%. The Cosmetic Pouch in canvas, which is the regular size one, went up from went up from $475 to $550. That's a $75 difference, about 16%. The Cosmetic Pouch in Epi Leather also went up from $565 to $640, also a $75 increase. The Toiletry Pouch in Canvas and Epi Leather went up. The Canvas one went up from $520 to $580, that's $60 difference, it's about 11%. The Epi Leather one went up from $785 to $860, so $75, it's about 10%. The Vanity PM went from $25.40 to $26.50. So that's a $110 difference. That's about a 4% increase. So that's it for the travel accessories. I do believe that the shoulder strap went up also. The strap in the VVN leather was $275 and it went up to $345. So that's $70 difference, about a 25% increase. I hope that's right. The very beloved mini pochette accessoire went up this time as well. It went from $365 to $445. That's an $80 difference. That's a 22% jump. The pochette accessoire, also beloved, went up from $630 to $790. That went up by $160. That's a 25.5% jump. The multi-pochette accessoire went up from $1,860 to $2,050. That's a $190 jump. That's about 10%. The Pochette Kirigami Game On went up from $1,010 to $1,020, so only $10 increase. It's about 1%. The Pochette Félicie with the LV World Tour or the LV Heritage went up from $1,570 to $1,600, so that's $30 increase, about 2%. The Pochette Kirigami went up from $715 to $745. That's $30, about a 4% increase. One of the specialty Zippy wallets, I think, went up from $935 to $965, so that's a $30 difference, but the regular Zippy wallet was not impacted. And I could be wrong about that one. The Key Pouch, which I know hit a lot of people hard because they were looking for this item before the price increase, went up from $225 to $270. That's a $45 increase, that's 20%. The NeoNoe MM in canvas, as I mentioned, the Omfront went down, but the canvas went up from $1,780 to $1,810. So it's a $30 difference. It's about 1.7%. The bum bag went up from $1,690 to $1,730. That's a $40 difference. That's a 2.4% difference. All the Neverfulls in canvas went up by $40. All the specialty Neverfulls and the leather Neverfulls stayed the same price. So they all went up $40. That's about a 2 to 3% increase. The MM is now $1,540, the GM is now $1,620, and the PM is now $1,460. The Speedy bandoliers also went up by $40. So the 25 is now $1,650, the 30 is now $1,680, the 35 is now $1,700, the 40 is now $1,720. The Speedy bandolier My LV Heritage also went up, and I don't know if they have the World Tour ones, but if they do, then they also went up by $40. So the 25 My LV Heritage is now $2,070. The Speedy bandolier 30 My LV Heritage is now $2,110. The Speedy 35 My LV Heritage is now $2,130, and the 40 is now $2,170. The Alma BB and the Alma BB LV World Tour both went up. The Alma BB in canvas went from $1,430 to $1,480. That's a $50 difference. The Alma BB LV World Tour went from $1,810 to $1,860, so that's another $50 jump, about 2.4%. Pochette Metis in reverse monogram went from $2,050 to $2,100, so $50 as well. The Pochette Metis in regular canvas went from $1,980 to $2,050. It's about $70. The Pochette Metis LV World Tour also went up $70 and is now $2,450. The On The Go in canvas also went up by $100, both in the MM and the GM sizes. So the MM is now $2,630 and the GM is now $2,790. And that's all that went up. So unfortunately, those are a lot of the bags that many of us, have on our wish list. They're very popular bags. It's the canvas, what LV is known for. I do think that price increases are here to stay. And it's really starting to make me think more carefully and more strategically about how I want to build my collection and what I actually want in my collection. I'm going to do a separate video on that. That's a whole different topic. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in being part of that conversation. Now, I've seen a lot of comments in Facebook groups and on Instagram, and I'm sure I'll get some of those comments on this video too. But there are several people who've said, if you can afford to buy thousands of dollars worth of bags in SLGs, then you shouldn't be worried so much about Louis Vuitton price increases. Now, I tend to disagree with this for a few reasons. One is, no matter how much money you have, I would imagine anyway, that you don't want to feel like you're wasting your money or spending unnecessarily. I think everyone wants, a fair and good deal. I also disagree because I don't know about you, but I really get attached to my wish list. I spend a lot of time putting together my wish list. I do research. I fantasize about my wish list. I think about how I would style things for my wish list. I mean, I really love doing that. That's part of what I love about this whole process. And there are things that are on my wish list for years. I just love it. But at some point, as the prices go up, sometimes you might feel that you can't justify that purchase anymore. And so this thing that's been on your wish list that in your mind is almost already yours, if you have to give it up because you just can't justify it with the price, then it's a little bit disappointing. It's not that big of a deal, obviously, given everything else going on, but there is just kind of that element of disappointment when you feel like you just can't justify that purchase anymore. So the Pochette Accessoire is a perfect example. That is such a versatile, wonderful piece from Louis Vuitton. At $500, which is what it was when I first was looking at it, it was a no-brainer, frankly. It was such a great purchase. Now at $790, I could see some people, even though it's still a great piece, I could see some people hesitating to pull the trigger because there are so many great pieces out there. And $790 could go, pretty far toward getting a full-size handbag. And lastly, I just want to say it's not just this one price increase that we're talking about. I'm thinking about this price increase in the context of all the other ones. So I've been tracking this since 2018. I think I've tracked like 3 or 4 price increases, and there have been a lot, and it's been a lot. So even if you just look from January 2019 until now, so a couple years, I'll just give you a couple of examples. The Canvas Cosmetic Pouch that only went up, 15, 16% this time, really has gone up 47% since January 2019. And one that's close to my heart because I love the Alma BB. I think it's so cute and I would love to add her to my collection. This time it was only a 3.5% increase, but since 2019, the beginning of 2019, it's been a 20% increase. When you're talking about those increases, over the course of time and over the course of your collection, it could add up. So if you're interested in future LV price increases and in hearing about the forthcoming Chanel price increase, definitely be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I hope that you stay safe and well. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you ended up making it to the end, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.